500. An auction room. Still, I suppose, with the remote possibility of a bargain. But through here, I doubt if you'd find one. What about these? Thousands of pounds worth of English and French antiques? Well, no. They're all reproductions. All made by one solitary craftsman, Denis Hillman. Miniature masterpieces. Not for sale. Well, not yet. Denis Hillman lives in Sussex. His wife goes out to work, and he works at home, all alone.
During my working day, although I might appear to be rather lonely, my companion is the radio.
And you could say the classical composers inspired Denis Hillman to small things. A Louis XV commode, oak frame, veneered with Macassar ebony and panels of Paduc lined with Afara and inlaid with tulip wood, rosewood and iron. Marble top and ormolu mounts. A little drawer at the back to hold the keys in case they get lost. The only difference between this and the full-size piece it was modelled from. An 18th century French armchair. An 18th century English corner chair. He was made redundant 8 years ago and started to make miniature furniture. He's now probably the best in the world, although it's not something he would claim.
The vast majority of my pieces go to the American market, amongst whom there are many avid collectors.
Avid collectors demand perfection, and Denis Hillman is a perfectionist.
Jacobean chairs, as a point of interest, the side chairs take 25 hours to make and the carvers 29 hours.
Looking at the things he makes and considering the work involved, you wonder how he can bear to part with them.
Many is the time when a piece is completed and I've been particularly satisfied with the end result. I'd dearly love to have kept it, but unfortunately one has to be practical.
His pieces fetch between £60 and £1,200. But if you bought one, you would get something that would last. And it's not even glued yet. But not even Denis Hillman would try to sit in one of his chairs. He had an argument with the Americans about timbers. They said if he used the same as those on the original pieces, the grain wouldn't be in scale. He won that argument, but he does have to choose perhaps just one small section of close grain from a whole sheet of veneer. Among those he uses are kingwood, satinwood, Macassar ebony, tulip wood, purple wood, Paduc, iron, and Afara. As he says, one particularly delicate operation is parquetry inlay.
which is at times can be very frustrating because if one happens to sneeze or a little bit jerky in one's movement, a piece is lost, and quite often I spend a lot of time on my knees searching for these pieces.
And no one wants to lose a piece of a Sheraton sofa table. Certainly not Denis Hillman, who does like to get things right. When he's finished, the parquetry inlay looks like this. The completed sofa table has minute dovetailing on the drawers. Minute supports for the flaps. Minute casters in, of course, perfect working order.
Personally, the Louis period furniture, that's the Louis 15-16, to me is the finest of design and workmanship. The greater the challenge, the more ready I am to go in and have a go at it.
Challenge puts it mildly. Denis Hillman's had to acquire many skills, such as marble working. Making single-lever sprung locks. Ask him what makes his locks different from anyone else's, and he'll say, rather quietly,
everything in the world.
The making of ormolu decoration. Denis Hillman does for him an enormous cheat and uses brass, but no doubt he'll get around to the real thing eventually. Ask him if his ormolu is better than anyone else's, and he'll say,
no one else does it. Many people have asked me how it is that I'm able to make these miniatures in so much detail, and for a long, long time that question always floored me. But quite recently I suddenly realized that when I was holding a piece in my hand that the models are not miniature to me, but they are in fact full size.
There are 60 separate pieces of brass ormolu and 135 minute pins to fix it on this bureau plat, and several hundred pieces of veneer. The chevron veneer is the most difficult to do, as one is bending it against its will. Of course, it didn't reckon with Denis Hillman. He's made about 800 pieces in all, but he doesn't think that many, considering he's been at it for 8 years. He signs and dates each piece, and just in case you're thinking of forging one, don't. The numbers are a secret sequence, and the star means it will never be repeated. He once thought of being a painter, but an RA friend of his said there are many painters but few miniature furniture makers. Denis Hillman took his point, switched on his radio, and pursued his lonely art.
Being on my own all day and well into the night would appear to be quite a lonely occupation, but I do find tremendous stimulation from music.